One of the things am interested in my bias is to redeem our internal circuits, to redeem these motivations we have with stress. How do we restore those in an environment that puts us in a kind of compromised situations where they come out really clumsy and they come out sometimes very harmful and damaging?
It's a great question. It's a great point that this world that we live in today kind of conspires against us. We experience stress. We naturally want to try to get back to our calmer baseline. And we're given lots and lots of maladaptive ways to do that. Eating cupcakes, binging on Netflix, smoking pot, drinking, whatever it is, which in the short term do work, right? Those do in the short term restore a kind of homeostasis. But really in the long term, the brain recognizes that as a false friend. And in fact, that requires the brain to do more work to adapt to those surges of dopamine, which then in turn trigger more of a stress response. So again, what works in the short term is actually, creating more stress and more maladaptive in the long term. But it's really hard to recognize that. Because in that single moment, it really does work. So I think this really requires both a lot of psychoeducation about what quick fixes or, immediate anxiolytics, pain relievers, whatever they are, what they're doing to us in the short term versus how they're really making things worse in the long term. And importantly, part of why I do prescribe and recommend abstinence trials or dopamine fasts is because it's very hard for us to see that true cause and effect in the moment. It's really a period of abstinence away from our drug of choice, whatever it may be, that allows our system to kind of settle down. The hard thing is that we do live in this kind of work hard, play hard environment where even the stressors are largely invisible and overwhelming. And then we naturally and reflexively reach for intoxicants, from caffeine in the morning to our Netflix shows at night to our Ambien, whatever it is, as a way to try to compensate for a crazy making world. How do I think the world is crazy making? Well, first of all, we're almost all of us way too overstimulated. So the subtle ways in which we have to process way more information than our brains evolved for, where we have to respond to many more people and human contacts than we were really evolved for, where we have to kind of respond to these little intrusions on our attention all day long. The cumulative effect of that is really to stress out our brains so that we're always in reactive mode and we're never really having those calm, lower stim moments that allow our brains to sort of recover and rejuvenate. And so it's like this, this work hard, play hard thing all day long. So I think there's a lot about the ways in which our world, although it seems like life is really easy because we have so many of our sort of immediate survival needs met, is really a very stressful environment where we don't have the opportunity to sit quietly by ourselves or with others and just sort of restore in healthy ways.